Good afternoon, everyone. This is Terry from Allen Art and Design. Hope everybody's having a nice weekend. It's cool and rainy here in New England today. So I decided to have a little bit of cocoa. I have a few packs of cocoa left from the winter, and I want to use them up. Yummy. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and show you. This is the little needle book that I was working on my last video. I took a bunch of scraps from a handkerchief that was my mother's, and I used some fusible interfacing, and I ironed it all together so that it made one piece. Now it's a little wonky, I know, but it's for me and I don't really care. And actually I think it's kind of cute. I went ahead and I put some, not sure if you can see, there's some lace leaves on either side, and there's lace flower here, there's a lace flower underneath, there's some more lace leaves. These iron-ons, they both came in the same pack. It was a flower and a hummingbird, and I just thought that it had the yellow on there and it had a little bit of green, because there's a little bit of green around the edges. There's not much of the material that you can see, but you can see the little yellow flowers and a little bit of green. On the inside, I went ahead and I glued some lace, and I think that just kind of distracts your eye from how wonky this thing is, and I really like the way it looks. I did stitch across. I made a little pocket out of lace. It's small. A stitch ripper or a little tiny pair of scissors or something. And then I put extra stitches right here at the corner of the pockets, and I covered it up with these tiny, tiny little flowers that I had. I thought that covered up that, because there was a lot of stitches there and it kind of looked ugly. So I just stuck those on there and I thought they looked pretty. I stitched around the design, and then I also took one strand of this embroidery thread and I stitched around the edge of the pocket, because I had originally hot glued it on there. I felt like it might come off, so I went ahead and I stitched all around it so it's on there. It's not coming off. So I really like it. I think it's adorable. I want to go ahead and show you. This is what I made out of the whole handkerchief. I started with this tiny little pin cushion. I made all of these things to go into my cute little sewing basket here. So this is just a little pin cushion. I'm not opposed to using hot glue. I'm not a purist. So I will hot glue that and hot glue that so it doesn't come off. And I think that this will be fine. It's just for pins, so it's fine. And this is my needle keep, and I just did a short on that. The short that I just did on this needle keep, I had the most views I've ever had. 1,300 views on my short. I couldn't believe it. I was amazed. First time I've ever had anything get that many views, so it was amazing. So this was the handkerchief, the rest of it that I was using from the pin cushion, and I just kind of folded it and I glued it together. There's some felt inside to protect the scissors inside there. I put a button, and I wanted to make sure that I stitched it in loose enough that I would be able to slip my scissors in there and then put the scissors around it. You need a pair of scissors, let me show you, that have this opening right here. A lot of scissors don't have it, but when I saw that, I'm like, I've seen other people do this. And you put your scissors around the button and they don't fall out. It's amazing. I love it. So I went ahead and kind of made it, kind of looks like a flower to me. Then I found some more of this lace. It's some cheap lace that I had, you know, just trying to use things up. And I went ahead and I glued it all around the back. I put some lace on the edges of a piece that I had to piece in. I think it looks fine. You never even know. Then I wrapped a little bit around the front. And I just think it's adorable. So that goes in my little sewing basket. And this is going to be my little needle book that goes with, it's like a set now that I made. I love it. My mother would be so proud of me right now that I was able to take that handkerchief of hers. I have her handkerchief collection, and now I want to make all kinds of things because I have a big stack of them and I'm never going to use them for anything else. So I want to show you, this is all I have left from that handkerchief. I'm very proud of myself. Talk about reusing, recycling. Oh, I'm very proud of myself that I was able to use almost every bit of it, and I love it. And now when I do my sewing, all three of these things are just going to remind me of my mom. And I'm thrilled with that. So what I would like to do now is I cut a piece of felt. The one that I cut originally, it was too small. It was too short. So I cut another piece so that it would fit in there beautifully. I am definitely going to have to put some kind of closure on it because look, it's going to want to open. I'll come up with something like a little button and a little string that you know, put around it. But for right now, this can hold that down. So what I need to do is I need to find a large needle. This is the needle keep that I made for myself. I just, I found some material that I liked, and I had some lace, and this is crocheted flowers, a cool button, looks like I had a cauliflower, and I just kind of stitched flowers all around, inside and out, and then I put in some pages. It's a very simple little needle keep. It's nothing fancy at all, but I don't need fancy. And then I just put a few pages in there. So I have my really fine needles at the beginning, right here and there. Those are fine needles for, you know, for hand sewing. And then I have some extra thread. I'm just keeping it in there because I'll probably use it at some point. And then I have some larger needles. And then I have pins. What else do I have? A few more pins. This is the large needle I'm actually going to use today. And then I have more large needles in the back, and then more pins, and I have some little safety pins and some larger pins. And then I have a few bulb pins that have buttons on them, like right here. There's one there, and there's one right here, just for decoration. And I've decided that this is way too small. I like how it closes like this, but it's too short. It ends like too abruptly for me. I need to add a bigger one. I think what I might do is actually take 3 strands and braid them together so it's a little bit stronger than this, and then I'll make a little wrap and then maybe put a bead or 2 on it. And then there's a string hanging out here. I thought I could put a few little beads on that and to match, and that would be cute. But I've been using this all the time now. All right, so let's get back to embroidery. I know about 5 or 6 stitches, but really cross-stitching was my thing years ago. And I have a video on some of my cross-stitching projects that I had made in the past, so you can go and look back at that if you'd like. I have a playlist that says embroidery on it, so it's probably under that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'd like to stitch that piece of felt in there. That's all I'm doing with this book. It just has one piece of felt. It's a really small needle book, but it's all I need for what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll probably just put only the needles I'm going to use for embroidery in there. And I'm kind of going by Jennifer Clouston's suggestion that you only use like 3 types of needles when you're doing embroidery. I'm going to go with that because the less needles you have to think about, the easier it is for you to, you know, just work instead of having to go through every needle you have. I just noticed that's coming up a little bit. I'll just hit that with a little hot glue. I want the string to hang out on the outside because I want to put some beads on it. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is in the middle. This is a thicker needle, but this is, I think it'll be stronger than, I've gone ahead and used thinner needles, but I've bent them because, like, that's a beautiful thin needle. You don't want to use that for this. So, because you also need the hole to be as big as the eye so that it will go through all of the layers. So, I have to decide how much do I want it to hang out. It doesn't matter because I'll, you know, I can cut it later, but I want to make sure I leave myself enough. I'm just going to do a few stitches. I was going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but I think I'm going to need a few more than that. And listen, I am no expert, all right? Just by looking at that right now, it's crooked already. See if I can thread this needle like that. Yay, I did it. That doesn't always work for me either. So let's see, is that actually in the middle? Well, I think it's as good as it's going to get. How's that? I can move it over just a teeny bit too. And then let's try to make it straight. All right. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, like I said, this is for me. It's still off a little bit, but I don't care. So then I'm going to go up a little bit more. I'm just trying to get this piece of felt to stay in. That's all I'm really trying to do here. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just stitching. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go. Let's see. I better finish off the top first, right? All right. I don't want to go all the way to the edge because, you know, it could end up ripping your felt. But is it straight? That's the thing. I'm trying to make it straight, but like it's not going to be perfect. All right. I've given up on perfection a long time ago. It's exhausting. Always wanting everything to be perfect. Yeah, see, that's a little too crooked for me, so I will take that out and redo it again. I mean, it's fine. If you have to take something out and redo it, just do it. It's all right. It's no big deal. So, I think I need to take the whole thing out. Although it looks pretty good on this side, doesn't it? Oh, you know what happened? Look at this. I gotta fix this before the whole thing is... I gotta fix it. I pulled it way too tight because I want some thread on the outside for some beads, right? Okay, well, that was kind of good that that just happened because if I didn't look back at it, now that looks pretty straight right there. So I'm just gonna stick with it. Try to get this finished so I can show you a few other things that I've been working on and they're almost completed. Right. This week, I ran my preschool program for the April vacation week. I haven't had time to do anything but that. So that's why I haven't been putting any videos out this week. Okay, so I feel like it's off a little bit, but you know what? It's fine. Let's see how that's gonna look once I put it in there. Oh, that's better. Okay, good, good, good. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over, and I'm gonna go through this one so that I can just keep working my way down. Don't necessarily want to go through the material, but if I do, it's not a big deal. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to space them out evenly. This is a thick needle, so I'm pushing it down on the table, the desk, so that I can push that needle through. Yeah, so it's a little bit wonky, but who cares? All right, let's do another one. There we go. Let's look on the other side. Yeah, see, it's not perfect, but this is gonna stick out anyways. Okay. I'm gonna go up. Okay, let's go through the other side so we can at least see what we're doing. Yeah, you know what? I think it's fine. I'm gonna go through here. All right, let's see. What I need to do is come a bit this way. Let's see, where's that gonna come out? Yep, that's good. Okay, I'm in line there. I mean, that's pretty good for me, that's fine. But I do want to yep. Come over here a little bit. I might go under that so I can kind of pull that piece over a little bit. Yep, that's fine. All right, now let's see. I just want to go through this one more time. And through here. Yep. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, so what I need to do is let's see. All right. And when I tie this knot, it'll kind of cover the fact that that's over a little bit. Actually, you know what I can do? Let's see, if I put this thread underneath here, I catch this, grab it, pull it under. Yeah, see, that kind of pulls that one over. And now maybe I can do the same thing here. Just push it under. Yeah, so when I tie it, it's gonna pull it over like that. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this knot twice because that knot is called a surgeon's knot, and that is not coming out. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but hey, I think it looks really cute. I'm gonna put another knot there just to be safe. Make sure we look at that. I mean, that looks fine. It's not exactly perfect, but I think it'll be fine. Once you train it to do what it's supposed to do, it'll be so cute. All right, let me do this last, put that on there. I'm gonna do this last knot. Okay. And then I'll do another knot, like an over. It makes a square knot when you do it that way. Okay, so that's not coming off. That's so cute. I'm just gonna use that to hold that together. What I'd like to do is, let's put that aside. I'll just put that in my pin cushion. I am gonna put a few needles in there, but not this minute. What I wanna do is, find some beads that I can use for this. Let's see what we have. These are pretty. I don't know. Whoops, there goes one on the floor. Okay. Maybe I'll take a pin and try to get some of them out of it. Oh, the other thing that you can do is I remembered to get a spoon. I put it in my drawer. because when you're trying to scoop things like this, it's good to have a spoon. I really like these particular beads. So maybe what I'll do is I'll throw the beads I'm going to use in here. What else do we have? I don't want anything too big. Ooh, these are kind of pretty. Look at, we got some little sparkly ones. Maybe even one of these green ones. I don't know, that might be too big. Maybe one of these. That's kind of pretty. Now I feel like I wish I had some that were even smaller. Ooh, look at little green ones. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll try different sizes of beads. I think that should be plenty. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take a little sip. All of my marshmallows are melted. Wow, that's really good. I just bought this cup. I don't want to spill it, but look at this beautiful cup. It's got all birds on it. It's my spring cup. So now I have a cup for spring, summer, fall, and Christmas. I'll probably get a winter one too, but I like to have a different cup for each season. I know I'm a nerd. All right, so what I need to do is I need to cut off that. We don't need that knot right now. All right, I'm wondering how thin of a needle I can use. I really should be using a beading needle. These are really nice needles. So what I think what I might need to use is, I wonder if I have, I do, a needle threader. Okay, so I think that will work. Yep, because it's a very fine needle, but the hole is a little bit bigger than the other one, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. What I do is, let's put this away. Let's see, put that needle away so I don't lose it. I have a habit of leaving needles down and then I have no clue where they went. All right, let's see. I like to start with the little one, I think, if I can get one. Let's see. Look, it fits. Does it? Whoa, it does. Okay, so I don't need it to go up that far. I wonder if I should have put a knot so it doesn't go further than I want it to. I think I do. Yep. I think I'll do another one because that hole, it might go right through. Let's see. You want to match up your knot, which is not easy. Knot, get it? I want it to match up with the other one. All right, where's the other one? It's like right behind it. Yep, right there. Okay, that should be okay. Okay, we'll get out the needle threader. Stay. Do that again. Put it through. Oops. Open that up a little bit. There we go. Pull it through. All right, let's try this again. Oops, almost lost my bead. Here we go. Let's see. Oh boy, I didn't leave myself much thread, did I? It's okay, I only need a few beads on here. And that, look, that's not gonna go anywhere, so awesome. All right, so the next thing I want is maybe one of these clear beads. That looks nice. Okay, then we're just going to repeat. That's all we're going to do. I think this one might be a little bit too much. Let's see. And then a little one. All right, and then I need to do the other one too, so I guess I got to get some more beads. Okay, so let's see how that looks hanging down. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, take my needle off. And we're just gonna make a couple of knots. There we go. Okay, and pull it tight. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna snip that off. Okay, this is the first time I've done any beading on my channel. I've got so many beads, it's almost ridiculous. I went through a kick where I was buying all kinds of jewelry and taking it apart. And I just have so much. So I really need to start making some things with beads. The thing about beads is you can use them for making jewelry. You can use them on needle books. You can use them in journals. You can make all kinds of things. So that's great. Okay, so I have 2 green, 2 clear, and 1. Okay, all set. I want my knot to be up here more. Okay, not all the way up though, so right about. Okay, right about there. And then I'll do another one. Try to match up the knot right there. Don't pull it too tight too soon. That's the problem. That's what I was doing before. So it's right over that other one. That's what I want. Want them together. Yep, there we go. I got it. Okay, so then we just go ahead and put my needle threader through this fine little needle. These are beautiful needles. They're oh, let's see, milliner's needles, size 3 through 9. Those were ones that Jennifer had recommended, and I went ahead and got them. I still have to order a couple more because I ordered some in error and I got ones that were too small. Our beading again, we'll just take our little green one on the bottom. Okay. And then a clear one. This little fancy one. A clear one. It's funny, I've never put beads on a needle book, but then again, I've only made a few needle books, so I like it. I think it's gonna be cute. All right, come on, one more. There we go. Okay. Now let's see how this hangs. Let's see. Yes, I like the way that's great. All right, so put that in my pin cushion. I'm starting to set things up so that when I'm stitching, I have all the things I need in front of me for stitching. And just like I do with like journaling. All right. Yeah, so I got them right on top of each other like the other one. Okay, so let's look at that. That looks really cute. I love that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I like to burn the edges a little so they don't fray. just a teeny bit though. You don't want to have a big black mark there from burning it. You just want to, yep, that's it. That's all I need. Isn't she cute? Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be putting a button right there. And I think I'll use the yellow thread and maybe I'll braid it. So it's a little thicker, and then I'll put a button there, and then you can just twist it around. I think that will work really good. I might have to put one more piece of material, or probably that fusible, what do they call it? The fusible, let me look and see what it says. Fusible interfacing. Just to make sure that that's really sturdy, because that's where all the actions are going to happen. But I think it's great. You know, I'd love it if you could, you know, leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this little needle book. So you could definitely stick, you know, something in there. Let's see if I have anything I could put in there. Look, a little tiny pair of scissors. What else could you put in there? Put that right in there. So now I have some buttons in there. I've got a little, I think I'll put one, oops, I'm gonna put a few needles in here. I feel like this milliner's needle is one that I'm definitely gonna be using. Like I said, Jennifer Clouston recommended it. I'm going by her recommendations. I was inspired to make this needle book by the new book that she has, which is Foolproof Freeform Embroidery. So this is a bigger needle. Not sure exactly what it's called, but let's see. I know I have this needle here would be good. And then I think an embroidery needle, if I can find one of those. Yeah, I had ordered these needles. They're ginormous. What would you, I don't know what you would use that for. I feel like this one could go here, and then I need an embroidery needle. Do I have one here? No, these are just pins. Oh, that's all right. I can find an embroidery needle. Oh, let's look and see what I have that I bought. Maybe there's one in there. There is. These are embroidery needles. These were also recommended, so I'll put a few of those. One in there. Maybe another one. I mean, it is good. I am going to be using this whole box for embroidery. I might as well have some embroidery needles, right? That only makes sense. Oh, look. And then I got one here. I got a couple of bigger ones there. Let's see. I'm going for it, and I'm going to put a few more embroidery ones in there. Why not? At least now I'll be able to find my embroidery needles. Half the time I buy these things, put them away, and then I can't find them. So, here we go. Let's put all this stuff away. I'll clean it up later. All right. So, here is my little needle keep. I just think that is adorable. I've got to find a cute little button, and then I'll make a little tie on. And this will be ready to go. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it's not too bad. I'm happy with it. I like how the yellow picks up on the trim on the handkerchief. I was glad I left the edge like that. I think it's really cute, and I think it's going to be great. I think these are a little too heavy for that. I think it might pull. This is just, you know, flimsy lace. I'll find something lightweight to go in there. I don't know what, but I'll find something. I'll probably a stitch ripper. I'll put that in there. And then my needle book is done. And I love the little beads. I think they pick up on the green, and I just love it. I think it's pretty. All right, so that's gonna go in there. That's gonna go there. Am I gonna be able to shut it? That's the thing, right? Yep, I am. If I can, there we go. Well, I'm very pleased with that. And I still can't believe I only had that much left of that handkerchief. I showed it to my husband. He's like, what? How'd you do that? It wasn't easy, but I did it, and I'm very happy that I did. I want to go ahead and show you the next thing that I'm going to be working on. Oh, looks like my kitty's been around because I see kitty hairs. I don't want him laying on this, and he'll wreck it on me. Okay, so speaking of Jennifer Clouston, I don't have her book in front of me right now. It's in the other room. Two of the projects I wanted to work on that were in her book. Excuse me, I'm just getting another sip. Was the needle keep, which I did, and a stitch book. And this is my stitch book. I want to, when I first showed this book, I didn't have any lace on the side. I found the doilies, or I think it was like a table runner, and there was enough left for me to cut and add. So I've got lace all the way around, which I think looks really pretty. I like it. Because this was cut a little wonky, so it didn't look right. So I like that. I went ahead and I stitched around the edges, just a straight stitch. This is my first attempt at herringbone stitch. It's not neat or anything like that, and I don't even care, because, you know, I'll just call it slow stitching, because when they tell you that slow stitching means you don't have to be perfect with your stitching. So I guess that's what that is, slow stitching. So because there was a seam in the middle, I figured I'd cover that up. So the other thing what I did was I took some of that interfacing, that double-sided interfacing, and I put it underneath each one of these pieces, and then I ironed it. So that way I was able to take the pins out. And I did it on both sides, so these pieces are stuck down. They're a little loose, but that doesn't matter. They're at least stuck where I want them, and I don't have to deal with pins. So there's the cover. Then I did the same thing with all the pages. Oops, that one got a little squish, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be stitching on it anyways. Here we go. This is the page for the middle. Like this piece, it kind of moved when I ironed it, but do I really care? No, I don't. I went ahead and used that fusible interfacing underneath, because when you iron it, it turns clear. You can't see it, but it's double-sided, so it sticks these pieces down, which is great. So I went ahead and I did this page, and then this page. I did that page. You can see I tried to match each page kind of like so they look kind of the same. And then this is the last one. What you do with these is once you stitch, you have to stitch on each panel. Let's open that a little bit. You have to, now that I put the interfacing in, it's going to be much tighter, and it's going to be easier for me to stitch. It's hard now. It's like I tried stitching it without the interfacing, and I made a mess of it. Luckily, this is, you know, just a sample book, and it doesn't really matter, but I didn't like the way it felt to stitch that. This is going to be much thicker, and when it's in a hoop, it's much sturdier to stitch on. And after you stitch each panel of all 4 of these pages, then you can stitch them together 2 at a time. I'll show you. You stitch them together like this. Well, this one could be the back one because it's a little bit bigger than this one. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to just do straight stitching all the way around, and then that's one page, but it's 4 sides. Same thing with this. You stitch them together once you do all your panels. Like this. You stitch them together, and I'll just use a straight stitch all the way around. This one might go this way too because this one's smaller than that one. Doesn't matter. I'll just stitch them together, and there's another page. So there's only 2 pages, but there's 8 panels to stitch on, which is great. And they're all ready for me to go. I just, I need to start stitching. So once I, stitch all my panels, I'll be able to sew them in, and I will have myself a stitch book. I might put some more panels in here. I make a panel on this side and make a panel on that side because it's thick enough where I could just go through that first or second layer and I wouldn't even go all the way through. I think that's probably what I'll do, but I'll worry about that later on. But I love how thick it is. I love how it feels. It's only going to have stitching in it, so it's not going to get any thicker than it is right now. I just love it. I can't wait to start stitching in it. All these pages, like all the strings are coming off, but this is a sample book, so it doesn't really matter. It's good. I kind of like how rustic it is. This is my first attempt at something like this, so I think it's going to be great. So stay tuned for that. I think at the beginning of the video, before I start working on this book, I'm going to announce my next subscriber giveaway. I've got 2 needle books that I'm going to give away. Somebody can pick from the 2 needle books, whoever wins. And they're going to be very similar, but, a little bit different. So I'll announce that at the beginning of my next video. I want to thank you for coming to my channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Happy crafting.